IIM ABC needs FMS and Jamnalal Bajaj so that IIM ABC can be IIM ABC.
We usually read about XYZ student got crores of packages after MBA. So how much good behind it?
Package CTC, I'd say it's an open conspiracy. I'd say.
Conspiracy.
Yes, it's a conspiracy. Everyone knows, but everyone wants to align with that conspiracy.
Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Learning. My name is Nishad and I am your host for today's episode. Today we have a very special guest. He is an Associate Vice President of Kotak Mahindra Group. He has done his engineering from BNIT Nagpur and MBA from FMS Delhi.
Thanks, Nishad.
So how's life going?
It's been great. Quite a few roller coasters along the way. But
Have you predicted the same future 10 to 12 years back?
I'd say yes. About 80-85% of the future, that the life that I'm living, I used to imagine this when I was in school and college. The way to reach here, that has changed drastically because one of my friend Rajanka, he always says that we used to dream something when we were kid, right? So as and how we grow up, we realize and we grow close to reality. So the ways and means to achieve the goals, that has changed drastically. But yes, this is the kind of life I wanted 10 years back, and I'm quite satisfied with that. I'm at this stage that I can say that 85% of the.
Nowadays, we see a trend of competitiveness is extremely high. For example, everybody wants to be in a top 10 colleges. So if things doesn't go our way, so is it okay if we fail?
Obviously, it's not okay if you fail.
Not just the exam, but what we have planned.
So one of the crucial thing about planning is that it can go wrong.
Correct.
You cannot plan 100% of the way.
True.
There are things bound to be that that are not in your hands or you cannot foresee. So obviously, when you plan, it is good that you stick to it, but to insist that everything will happen all the way along, that's something wrong. So you should plan, but if something goes wrong, it's okay.
Actually, my logic behind this question is, I know you from school days. You have excellent in your 12th, but that was not as you expected. Then you had a drop year, and then you got into a prestigious college like BNIT. And there also you had a roller coaster ride as I know. So how you deal with these phases?
That shows that we plan something, but we always don't know what will happen.
Correct.
So back in 12th, which was 2012, we had AI which was an engineering entrance exam. So I scored good marks in 12th board, but I did not score. I did not have a good score to get into any engineering college on the basis of AI score, right? So that's where it all went wrong. But then I took some time to think about it. I took some advice from my friends and from seniors, and then I realigned myself. So that realignment, everyone must take that time and realign themselves. Have a second thought, have experts' opinion, have seniors' opinion. Because the thing is, I've noticed that a lot of people who are preparing for competitive exams, they come from not so good economical background, financial background,
100%.
right? And when they are preparing for these exams, they want to clear it in one shot, which does not happen. And that's when it is crucial that you should have a backup plan. If something goes wrong, what will you do?
Correct.
That everyone must think about. And for that, you need to interact with a lot of people who have walked on that path before you. That's where I think channels like this would help a lot. Bringing these people who have tread on this path in the past, and they can guide. So
in the past it is not available that much, but now it is available, so people should use it.
Correct. Yes.
If I ask you, out of your school, colleges or MBA or the phases in between them, which contribute more to your success and contribute in the sense which added most value to you?
Okay.
Like MBA was the only one?
No, so that's the difference, If someone's looking at my life from outside, let's say, my friends or my family, right? So what they would see, my life's graph was like from school to college, it
Correct.
was, a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, everybody wants to be a
Yeah,
Shubham Raj.
and then college, everyone sees that it was a flattish line, or some would say that it was a declining line. And then 3 years of work experience, and then a certain MBA of 2 years, which was an exponential growth.
Correct.
This is how someone would see from an outside. But if I were to tell you, or if you were to ask one of my close friends, any of my close friends, they would say that the most growth happened in the period in which you see a declining trend from an outside perspective. Because that's where I learned about life. I did not, I failed a lot of exams in my engineering, but I learned a lot of things about life. I learned how to take failure. I learned how to feel, how it feels to be at the bottom of that exam sheet. And because I was at the top once at one point in my life, I know what makes you, what actions makes you, reflect in the bottom of the table, and from there, how you pick yourself up and put yourself back at the top of the list. And that I learned in the worst way. From an outside perspective, the worst phases of my life, which is VNIT, and then the 3 years of work experience before MBA. It's often said, so those were the years when I was working hard on myself. And it's often said, I don't remember who said it, but hard work takes you to the places where good lucks usually find you. So FMS was that place where good luck usually, it found me, and I got that exponential curve. Yeah.
So you have mentioned you understand what is life in those places.
Yes.
So if you have to explain someone who is watching our video, 21-year-old, how you will explain what is life?
Okay, that's a very deep question. I think it's more about experiences and being open to those experiences. So I would say one has to fail in order to understand how does it feel after you fail. And one of the things about life, since you asked, is if something has happened to you for the first time, it doesn't mean that it won't repeat itself. So now when I say that I have failed a lot of times, right? Do I have a fear of failing? Yes. Will I fail sometime in life? Yes, I will fail. I know that I'm going to fail numerous times. But the thing is, what I've learned about that from that experience about life is that how you pick yourself up, how to deal with failures. And that's how it is with all experiences in life. It's about not just about exam, but you get your first job, you get your first salary, you want to spend it on partying with your friends, you get into an intimate relationship with your girlfriend. All those sort of experiences, you learn from them, and you pick one or two things from each of those experiences, and then you evolve in your understanding and your maturity. I think that's what life is about.
In reality, what happens is when a student gets failed, the approach of his or her parents is for his more improvement, which is not completely wrong, but added extra pressure on that child. As a result, what happens is there is an increase in stress and depression, and which leads to a more suicide-like cases now we have seen. So how someone deal with this situation?
Okay, so first of all, you must understand that our parents live in a different generation, and although we are getting a lot of outside influence, outside information through be it internet, movies, and TV series and what all, they are still in that mindset. And their habits, their thoughts are older than us. All of us are in our 20s and they are in their 50s, 60s. So their habits are 50, 60 years old, which is twice as us. So it is worthless, I'd say, that you go and try and make them understand or change their thoughts. You have to adjust with it.
So it is our responsibility to make them understand.
That's why in one of the previous answer to your previous question, I told that you must have a backup plan.
Correct.
Also, you live in a society after all. It is this society that makes and breaks us. Whatever you do, you earn thousands of crores of money, you invent something, or you enter into a political or a social organization. Whatever you do, you have to live in this society. You have to work for this society. So one should not try and be rebellious about your social background, the culture that you've been brought up, but for the time being, I'd say adjust to it and then slowly try to maintain on the on specifically on how to deal with the pressure that comes from parent. I would say channels like Medhavi's Learning can do a lot more, because not everyone gets elder brothers or brothers friends like you. But channels like this, books, maybe seminars or workshops, going forward, maybe you can arrange. That can help a lot.
You have to go out and figure out those things.
Yes, there are two things required. I mean, for any kind of change, there are three things required basically. First is, I'll switch to Hindi. It's better that way. तो पहला है कि जिसमें बदलाव करना है उसकी बदलाव की कितनी इच्छा है, पहले वो चाहिए. दूसरा, जिसको बदलाव करना है उसको बदलाव करने की कितनी इच्छा है. That's where you guys come in. और तीसरा, जिसमें बदलाव करना है उसकी बदलाव करवाने वाले को झेलने की कितनी इच्छा है. ये तीन चीजें होनी चाहिए.
ऑडियंस को थोड़ा टाइम लगेगा इसको ऑब्जर्व करने में.
ये तीन चीजों पे बदल है. तो ये सेम चीज आप अपने पेरेंट्स पे अप्लाई करिए. पहली बात तो आप उनकी वो मेंटालिटी बनाइए, आप साइकोलॉजी बनाइए दैट दे विल बी ओपन टू न्यू आइडियाज. सेकंड, आपको उतना पेशेंट होना पड़ेगा गिवन दैट देयर हैबिट्स एंड थॉट्स आर ट्वाइस एज ओल्ड एज यू. और थर्ड, आप उनको झेलने की और उन्होंने आपको झेलने की वो साइकोलॉजी बनाई, तो धीरे धीरे चेंज होगा. ऐसा है.
You were my senior in my schools and teachers used to praise your qualities, and same happened in college also. People used to talk about your intelligence, hard work and humbleness. So all these qualities was in you from your childhood or they get just added throughout your journey? Because you came from a Marathi medium and became a topper of the English medium, and from there you never look back.
Okay, so first of all I'd like to say that there was a lot of exaggeration in that whatever you said, but okay, so about coming from I was from a Marathi medium background and then I switched to English medium, so I was also a little bit scared. One thing that helps along this journey is your friends, the kind of friends that you make. Those are very crucial and they stay till the end of your life. That helps a lot. Second is, you particularly asked that every teacher was impressed with me.
And not only teachers, if you go to someone's friend's house, their parents also impressed from that.
Okay, so okay, I'd say there are two aspects. One is knowledge, how you consume knowledge. That gives you marks, that gives you certificates,
because
and that forms a perception. The other thing is your soft skills.
Correct.
The way you behave, the way you speak,
Shubham kiti chhan bolto,
those sort of things. Yes, Shubham kiti chhan bolto. The smile, I've been told a lot about my smile. I don't know how it's looking right now. The soft skill is somewhere in our society, in our educational system, not given any importance at all. Luckily for me, you would have observed that I used to be hosting all the programs that were happening in our school, or inter college competition, the school competitions, right? So luckily I got that chance to develop those skills.
Okay.
But I don't know the education system right now. If it has improved, that would be really great. But if it has not, then everyone. So in school, no one pays attention to all these things, right? But if you're talking to a generation who is in their 20s, they are well aware of what's required in the outside world. And if they want to be in good books with everyone, and if they want everyone to be impressed by them, not everyone, you shouldn't insist that, but a majority of people, at least your interviewers, if you want them to be impressed by you, then you should focus on these things, and you should and how do you learn that? You don't enroll into a course for everything. You put yourself in such situations. You're traveling in a train, you talk to your fellow passengers. You're sitting in a workshop, you talk to your who's sitting beside you. You force yourself in such situations, and that's how you evolve.
Okay.
You need content, and on that content only you can create knowledge. Right? So First is, apart from the educational knowledge, I'd say you need a lot of content. You need a lot of information, and that's the best part of today's world. That there's n number of channels from which you can get information. Okay, so everyone has information, but everyone is not knowledgeable. Everyone is not intellectual. So what's the difference? What makes someone a knowledgeable person or an intellectual person? It's the way how that person processes that information. You must understand something, that knowledge comes after you process the information, and that's why everyone's knowledge level or perception level is different, right? So first you have to put yourself in such situations. Second, you have to open up the ways through which content is reaching out to you. Third, you need to have your own way of processing that information. Then only you can convert it into a knowledge, and then only people will call you an expert of a particular field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Extraordinary. In our childhood, we used to play a game of snakes and ladders, that is subsidy game. So in that game, what happened is there is a ladder which used to take us from 24 to 84 directly. So do you think MBA plays the same role in your career?
Okay. Yes. Why? It's quite obvious. I think the brand carries its value. So you go out to a kirana shop and you ask for a gai chap salt. He'll give it for 2.5 rupees. But if you ask for a Tata namak, he'll give it probably for a 12 or 15 rupees, right? Same thing with clothes or shoes. You buy a Reebok shoe, so the brand carries a premium with it. And that premium, when that brand gets attached to your name also gets that premium. And if you look at your journey, let's say someone starts working from his late 30s, which is 28, 29, and then he works till 60 years. So in a span of 30 years, if a 2-year course is giving you a jump of, let's say, about 6 to 8 years, right? That's 20% of the timeline. 30 years plus 6 years. That's huge. So I don't think, all of this is particularly for an Indian society. Indian education system, Indian corporate world, where that premium carries a value, that brand carries a value. In a 30-year span, if someone's giving you a boost of 6 years, that's huge, that's unmatchable at present.
But what boost you are talking about, it is not for everyone doing MBS. Like someone is doing from a low tier college, they are not getting that jump. But people from MBIMs and all, they are easily getting those kind of packages, you can say.
Yes.
So why this is so different?
You mean the packages?
Yeah.
Okay, so as I told, the package comes with the brand. Brand and the premium. Why? Because industries also have, faith in those brands. That whatever we're getting with that rigor, that students have gone through those rigor. One of the things that I'd like to tell is, when I started planning for an MBA, I asked one of my manager, Mr. Dhir Ledwani, and he said, न्यूटन का चौथा रूल है, MBA करो तो अच्छे कॉलेज से करो, वरना ना करो. Why he said that? Because he did MBA from a very renowned college. He worked his way from the ground up. So he knew what kind of people are entering the funnel at each level. What I also observed is that I work with a lot of MBAs from different layers of college, right? Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1, and then your top ones. The rigor that students go through in their 2 years of MBA, that's very different. Will be preparing, I shouldn't mention name, but a normal MBA college guy would be preparing his thesis, writing manuals, or whatever that thing. But in IIMs, or I am from FMS, your BP is always high. You're supposed to check your email every 15 minutes, or you're losing out on opportunities. You get an email at 5 o'clock in the morning that 7:30 you have a surprise test. The result of the surprise test does not affect anything. You get the same job, you get in the end the degree, the paper that comes out, it has you graduated from FMS or IIM, that does not say. But in that period of 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., the student goes through a stressful, a very challenging period, and that helps him adjust to whatever is coming in future,
Okay.
the corporate life. He, gets used to the pressure. He gets used to how one calms himself in that situation, and that rigor is very important.
Okay.
You may fail even after that rigor, but being habitual to that rigor is essential, and that's what they give us in the top MBA colleges. I think is the difference.
So, do you think the difference will remain in our education system between those in low tier college and high tier college?
Yes.
In next 15 years?
Yes, because we are talking now from a student's perspective.
Yeah.
Right. But if you for a time being, let's say, let's forget that we are students. The education is an industry. It's a business.
Yeah.
Everyone's opening an MBA college. Everyone's opening a engineering college. MBA and engineering college doctors maybe. So that's a business for them.
Correct.
They won't focus on the quality of education if it's coming between their line of profitability.
Okay.
So yes, there will always be institutes who will focus on the quality of the education, no matter the profitability, and yes, there will always be a huge chunk of institutes which will focus on profitability and not so much on the quality of the education. So that difference will always be there. Yes.
Okay. Recently, I was reading a data which quoted that 5,000 IITians goes for a startup, whereas the MBA graduate who goes for a startup is only 1.5K, that is 1,500. So why there is a difference?
What do you need for a startup?
Money.
I'd say an idea.
Okay.
Money is the secondary requirement.
Okay.
You need something. You need to identify a problem that you can solve. And for that, you need an idea, right? Being a tech guy, IITians have that more. If someone's doing an MTech after an engineering, it's clear that he has interest in tech.
Okay.
And he doesn't have interest in other fields, other aspects of life or education. One of the reasons people, there are two reasons primarily people do MBA. A, they want to upskill, or B, they want to switch lines.
Okay.
That's why people do MBA, at least in India, right? But someone after an engineering, they are doing MTech. They purely have interest in tech backgrounds.
Okay.
So obviously, they look at problems and try to solve them from a tech background. That's why I think there are more startup founders who are from IITs than IIMs. But after a certain period of time, every IIT founder needs an MBA.
Okay.
That's the thing, because you need someone to manage the business.
Correct.
Right. I'd say, but one of the things that I've observed is there's a craze of startup, the word startup, that everyone wants to do a startup. Even if it's printing a plastic bag or a t-shirt, they want to call it a startup. Startup should have a bit more comprehensive definition. It should start with something, there's a problem you cannot solve in a conventional way. That needs some outside perspective or some tech background or tech solution. And that's when it should be called a startup.
Okay.
I think when you quote that data, that 5,000 IITians and then 1K MBAs, I think we should also look at a definition of what they are calling as a startup. From my experience, I think there are a lot of MBA guys opening their businesses, but they are traditional businesses. Or they are just creating business model which are assisting the existing businesses.
Like they are continuing like what their father is doing. They are taking the legacy kind of business.
Yes, or they are continuing if someone has already started. They are trying to make it better.
Okay.
Right.
Do you think package and year of education plays a role in that? Because an IIM who has already spent 3 years or 4 years in his bachelor's and then 2 years for MBA and gets a handsome salary. Whereas IITians has spent 3 to 4 years and now he has time to pursue that startup like thing.
There's one more thing to the list. There's an educational loan when you go for your MBA. So that's why it would be repetitive. I'm repeating it again, that you must always understand the family background you're coming from.
Okay.
No matter you selecting for UPSC preparation, no matter you're selecting for an MBA from an IIM or outside MBA or an MTech or an MS from outside, you must always first of all calculate and understand your background.
Okay. So
That's what limits or opens up the possibilities that you may have after your completion of your MBA or MTech or whatever that is.
what you
So, as you said, a BTech guy, he has got a lot of time
correct.
because engineering is cheaper in India at present. Even if it is from IIT or
As compared to
Mixed
IIT.
Pilani and everything, the costless college would be a lot cheaper than MBA. Obviously, you have less, financial responsibility burden after that, yes. And MBA asks more of that. So you tend to, attend to that seriously than focus on what you really wanted to do in life. That's what happens when you don't understand your background.
From the start of the video, we are talking about the positive or mixed aspect of MBA. But can you tell some drawbacks of MBA? If I have to put more precisely, why someone should not do MBA?
Why one should not do an MBA? Because I'm so used to answering the question why MBA. So anyone who's preparing for an MBA.
Yeah, give me any 3 reasons. Like if someone asks me, then I will give the same answer. So give any 3 reasons why someone should not do MBA.
Why someone should not do an MBA? Okay, first, your education, your family background does not support that. You should not push it. Second, are you really happy with whatever education you have got and whatever work you're doing currently? Before MBA, yes. Do you really need that upskill or a shift of lanes? Then an MBA.
Okay.
Third, MBA comes with a lot of baggage. Not only financial baggage, the other baggages. Are you ready to take that baggages? All those baggages. Are you ready to carry that for, let's say, next 10-15 years? You won't get to learn the operational pieces. You won't get to see how things are working at the ground level. If you have that zeal to learn that, don't go for MBA. I think these 3 should be the main pieces.
Okay. We usually read about XYZ student got crores of packages after MBA. So how much truth behind it?
CTC, I'd say, package CTC, I'd say it's an open conspiracy, I'd say.
Conspiracy. Okay.
Yes, it's a conspiracy everyone knows, but everyone wants to align with that conspiracy. Now, how this happens? You take a huge loan, you at times take a gap in your career, you miss family functions, you break up with your girlfriend for the preparation of the MBA and everything, and after that you get into a college. Then you spend 2 years crying there. It's a tough experience to go through an MBA. Then you get a monthly salary, right? In that you have to, you provide for all your expenses, family and everything, right? But from an outside perspective, आपने 2 साल मेहनत की, आपने इतनी मेहनत की, कितना सैलरी है आपका? Would you really want to quote a lower number or the actual number? I wouldn't say lower, an actual number. Would you really want to quote? We'll stop here. We'll move to something else. We'll go to a college. Now we are a college, right? You want to attract more students, right? So that you also grow in business. You want to attract best talents in the country so that the talented students of the country come to you. What would you quote? Would you quote a higher number or a real number?
Okay, higher number obviously.
We'll stop here. We'll move to a third thing.
Okay.
The corporates who actually pay, right? CTC is cost to company. That we must understand. I mean, everyone understand that whatever a company has to spend on us, that is cost to them. As a corporate, you want to go to the best institute and attract the best talents. What would you do? Would you tell them a realistic number or a sort of bloated number? Obviously, right? So in all 3 cases, the choice is clear. Rather than why to quote a real number when you have and everyone is getting aligned to that number, you can quote that and get that praise, that prestigious treatment in the society and family. So yeah, everyone follows along with that conspiracy.
Okay, so it's just making fool of all of us.
I'd say we also take part in that thing.
everybody wants to be a hero, so everybody then dream of अरे मैं भी MBA करूँगा, ये
हाँ।
करोड़ लूँगा, और पेरेंट्स को भी लगता
And
है
that's
मेरा
how
बच्चा
that
MBA कर
हवा
रहा
हवा का
है।
गुब्बारा
Okay.
वो बढ़ते जाता है उस तरह से.
Okay. So what will you suggest to someone who is doing, imagine BBA or engineering and wants to do MBA? So what thing he should prepare before going to any MBA college?
Before going to an MBA college,
What will you suggest?
पहले तो कैट के लिए प्रिपेयर कर लो यार. और कैट के लिए दिल से प्रिपेयर करो, क्योंकि बढ़िया चीज है. आपके दिमाग का जो भी जंग लगा है वो खुल जाता है, पूरा जूस निकाल देता है कैट. एंड द थिंग इज, one thing, I mean, it might sound irrelevant to the question that you've asked, लेकिन there's a different kind of knowledge that comes from reading subject book. मैं सेमीकंडक्टर्स पढ़ रहा हूँ, मैं थ्योरी ऑफ रिलेटिव पढ़ रहा हूँ, उससे अलग नॉलेज आता है. लेकिन जब आप कॉम्पिटिटिव के लिए प्रिपेयर करते हो, when you prepare for competitive exams, आपका माइंड शार्प होता है, वो अलग तरीके से खुलता है. I cannot explain it in words, but it is very crucial. I'd suggest to everyone, even if you're not interested in competitive exams or completing your MBA, you must, whenever there's a low fee or a fee, no fee, you must always try and give those competitive exams from time to time.
Okay.
उससे एक अलग ही मजा है, उससे एक दिमाग अलग खुलता है आपका. in Marathi it is called व्यवहारिक बुद्धि. वो आता है उससे. आप थ्योरी ऑफ रिलेटिव पढ़ लो, उससे नहीं आएगा, लेकिन आप कैट के लिए प्रिपेयर करो, बराबर आएगा. Everyone should try it. Second thing, before going into an MBA, have an open mind. आप अपने स्कूल के टॉपर थे, आप ऐसी जगह पे जा रहे हो, वहाँ पे हर कोई अपने स्कूल का टॉपर था. आप खुद को सोच रहे थे कि आप तोप हो, वहाँ पे आपसे बड़े बड़े तोप रहते हैं, तो बी ओपन. थर्ड थिंग, yes, MBA curriculum is very important. It's very exhaustive. You should take it very seriously. People ignore that.
Okay.
कि MBA तो है, मतलब पढ़ना तो नहीं है, यही करना है, वही करना है, ऐसे करते हैं. The other things are also equally important, which everyone will tell us. Networking. Okay. That you talk to the fellow students from other colleges. You participate in a lot of corporate competitions. LinkedIn पे नेटवर्क बनाओ, 200, 300, 500 फॉलोअर, वो सब भी ठीक है, लेकिन जो करिकुलम है MBA का, उससे निगलेक्ट मत करिए. इट्स वेरी एग्जॉस्टिव, बिकॉज वो 2 साल में आपको अगले 30 साल तक जो भी आपको लगने वाला है उसका सारे का इंट्रोडक्शन है. इट डज नॉट, मतलब स्पेशलाइजेशन उतना होता नहीं है उसमें, लेकिन इट इंट्रोड्यूसेस यू to the key concepts that you are going to require for the next 30 years of life. Then you can choose whenever you want कि अभी let's say I'm handling P&L, तो मैं अपनी अकाउंट्स की बुक खोलता हूँ कि क्या लिखा है, राइट. करिकुलम को मैं बोलूँगा कि I'd rearrange the 3 things that I've told. कैट तो देनी है, ये भी देनी है, लेकिन MBA के करिकुलम को भी प्रायोरिटी दीजिए बाकी चीज़ों के साथ. ये 3 चीज़ें.
It helps you to develop.
Yes, comprehensively. MBA is for your comprehensive personality development. You get a lot of information. You get a lot of information processed already. So ready-made knowledge मिलता है आपको. Then one of the in an earlier question I told you that you need to put yourself in such positions where you develop your personality, interpersonal skills. MBA does that for you. An MBA college does that for you. It puts you on the stage. Ask a question, answer a question, speak in a GD, give lots of interviews. I've given so many interviews in the 2 years that I don't even rehearse or I don't even practice for that interview. So
I didn't give you a question.
So that's what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I ask you, tell any 5 MBA college, forget about the IIMs. Below those IIMs where a common person from a common background with a normal financial background should target those any 5 colleges.
उससे पहले तो आपका कैट स्कोर ही देख लो, मैं बोलूँगा. अगर वो काफी कम है, तो rather than settling for any of the colleges, I would still stick to the words that were told to me by the late one. MBA करना है तो अच्छे कॉलेज से करो, वरना ना करो. थोड़ा रुक जाओ और एक अटेम्प्ट करो, फिर से अच्छा कॉलेज लाओ.
करना है तो क्या अच्छा लेकिन.
हाँ, but अगर आपको you have a good college and now you want to select the top 5, if you have a financial background, you can sustain that. Then Indian School of Business,
Okay.
best one. If you are an IIT and if you have a startup mind, you want to start something of your own, or even if you have a family business, ISP. If you want your name to carry the maximum premium available in the market, IIM A, IIM B, IIM C.
Okay.
If you are coming from the background that we come from, a normal middle class background or even lower middle class background, let's say, FMS and Jamnalal Bajaj.
Okay.
One of the things that my professor told me when I was in FMS is that IIM ABC needs FMS and Jamnalal Bajaj so that IIM ABC can be IIM ABC. What IIM A sees in FMS is that अरे यार इस कॉलेज को कुछ फंडिंग नहीं है, इसका फीस 50,000 का, ये मेरे से कॉम्पीट करता है, ये दूसरे नंबर पे कैसे बैठा है, तो इट पुशेस देम अप कि मैं कुछ और करूं कि एफएमएस मेरे नीचे ना आए, मतलब और नीचे जाए, राइट. A is always better than FMS. IIM A is always better than FMS, right? And it will always be. But an IIM A, in order to be an IIM A, it needs an FMS.
Okay.
तो यहाँ पे आपने अपनी परिस्थिति समझनी चाहिए. IIM A में आपको ज्यादा प्रीमियम मिलेगा आपके नाम को, लेकिन आपकी परिस्थिति है क्या? IIM A में जाके आप 20 लाख 25 लाख फीस दे पा रहे हो क्या? उसके बाद अपना एजुकेशन के बाद आपका जॉब, आपका फैमिली बैकग्राउंड, वो सब झेल पाओगे क्या? वो सोच के आप अपना डिसीजन लीजिए.
Thank you so much, brother, for coming to our channel and sharing your experiences. Thank you so much to our listeners also for tuning in. If you like the video, then do like and subscribe to our channels. And don't forget to read our end screen.